okonjo-lweala, directora general de la Organización Mundial del Comercio, a dirigirse a la conferencia.
Your Majesty, the King of Spain, President Pedro Sanchez, Secretary General Guterres, President of the General Assembly and President of ECOSOC, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting the World Trade Organization to address this conference. I don't think that a conference has ever gathered in such difficult times. Difficult for the world, for our shared development aspirations, and for the means to finance the attainment of these aspirations. After decades of positive contributions, which I must remind you, increased incomes in rich countries and lifted 1.5 billion people out of poverty in the developing world, the global trading system has now been severely disrupted. Developing countries that had been hoping to increase export revenues to help prevent deterioration in their balance of payments must now contend with disruptions so considerable that they are feeding into financial instability. Amid unilateral tariff measures and record levels of policy uncertainty, at the WTO we have sharply downgraded our forecast for the year. Instead of growing by 2.7%, almost 3% in 2025, we currently estimate that global merchandise trade volumes will basically be flat, growing at only 0.1%. The introduction or reintroduction of further tariff barriers on July 9th would make the contraction worse. This is why we have argued that least developed countries as a group and Africa as a region should be exempted from these reciprocal tariffs, so we can better integrate them into the world trading system, not further exclude them, so that they can stand a better chance to earn the resources with which to deliver on the sustainable development goals. So where do we go from here? The outcome document, Compromiso de Sevilla, rightly recognizes international trade as an engine for development. It is through trade that you can help earn your own domestic resources to finance your development. We therefore need to bolster stability and predictability in global trade. This involves action at multiple levels. First, we need to shore up the 74% of global goods trade that continues to cross borders on the basis of the WTO's most favored nation tariffs. And we need to ensure more countries can seize exciting opportunities to earn more resources to finance themselves through services, digital, green, and blue trade. Second, we believe that cooperative solutions to existing trade problems, not unilateral approaches, are the best way to go. But at the same time, we need to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And we need to respond to legitimate criticisms by the United States, the European Union, developing countries and others that have been raised by trying to listen to these criticisms and reform and reposition the World Trade Organization. We must not waste this crisis if the WTO is to continue to offer a good value proposition for its members. Ministers must step up at the upcoming 14th Ministerial Conference in Cameroon and embrace and push forward the necessary reforms. We need to complement these multilateral reforms by also stepping up ongoing economic integration at the regional level in Europe, in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Most regional agreements are built on the WTO platform and complement the WTO, deepening them with strengthened international trade architecture and foster greater certainty in trade. Third, to unlock trade, we need to unlock and leverage investment and trade finance. As the outcome document recognizes, attracting domestic and foreign investment to countries and communities on the margins of the global economy is vital to make growth inclusive. At the WTO, we are poised to contribute positively to this agenda with our new plurilateral instrument for investment facilitation for development, which will complement all the things that Ajay said they are doing at the World Bank. Fourth, we need to reduce trade finance gaps in developing countries. This would help accelerate trade and improve countries' fiscal positions. Our studies with the International Finance Corporation show that only 10 to 25% of goods trade is financed in many developing countries. Doubling this coverage would boost trade flows by an estimated 8% per year on average and allow countries to earn more of their own domestic resources. Fifth and finally, at this World Financing for Development Conference, with so many leaders present, I must reiterate what Ajay Banga said. I want to emphasize once again that we have large amounts of financing locked up in harmful subsidies, which we should seek to repurpose. He mentioned 1.2 trillion. Actually, if you add some of the ones on agriculture and water and fisheries, harmful fisheries subsidies, we have almost $2 trillion locked up in subsidies that are doing more harm than good. Recognizing the political difficulties involved in phasing out subsidies, I know this is not easy. I will just point out that if we can repurpose 1/3 to 1/2 of this, we would have much of the resources we need to address the problems that we are tackling, we're talking about tackling for the Sustainable Development Goals. At the WTO, we have done our part. We have delivered on SDG 14.6 on phasing out $22 billion in harmful fisheries subsidies that lead to illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing of our oceans. 102 countries have ratified this agreement so far. We need only 9 more for it to come into effect. So if your country has not ratified, please do so immediately so we can fully deliver on this SDG. In conclusion, Excellencies, yes, we are in difficult times and we face tough constraints, but we still have room to act at home and with each other to put sustainable development and financing back on track. A reformed multilateral trading system is certainly poised and willing to do its part. Thank you.
Doy las gracias a la directora general de la organización.
I am just so proud of Nigeria, especially the women. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and share. Thank you and God bless.